Hello and welcome back to Take Your Hits. Today we have historical impressions and a full report on DayZ 2 at Section 8. In case you want to become a zombie yourself, we also talk to Steve from Scare Scotland. First up is Chris and his Cold War airsoft gear.
So, this impression,
Yes.
what is it?
This is the United States Marine Corps in 1984 when they switched over to the M16A2 assault rifle. So normally you see them, they also work for a Grenadier impression if you swapped out the rifle for an M16A1, which is also what I do, or if you were using the M60 light machine gun behind you, because that was throughout the entire Cold War, that was a standard GPMG of the US forces.
Cool. So what's the difference, starting with the rifle, between the M16A1, for those who don't know, and the M16A2?
The M16A2 assault rifle has a different rear sight aperture on it. It also has a thicker barrel, and it has 3-round burst capability. There is no fully automatic capability on this weapon.
Because they had issues with fully automatic in Vietnam.
Yes, just spraying the trees, getting rid of everything, and wasting a lot of ammo.
Okay. So, do you do this in your regular game day, or do you have a specific event that you take the gear to?
This is for a specific event, but I also game with it regularly as well to get used to the weight. I mean, the flat jacket's about 5 kilos,
Right.
so it takes a bit of getting used
Yeah,
to,
yeah.
sort of jumping about in it and stuff. This is for the Cold War Airsoft group that's run at Gunman Airsoft
Right.
down south, run by iLARP Film Film. So it's like an airsoft game, but there's also an element of LARPing to it as well.
Right.
So when you're shot, you don't put up your hand and say hit. You're like ah, and like give your
So,
best
yeah.
sort of dying impression. So there is an element of LARPing to it. It was very very sort of the first game that we went to. It was kind of like I was kept putting my hand up to say I was hit, and then I was getting shot in the hand, so I was screaming anyway. So it kind of actually worked out quite well. But no, they run big Cold War games down south at 4 sites. I couldn't tell you the exact
Okay.
sites that they are, but if you check out Gunman Airsoft, you will see
You'll
all
find
the
information there.
all the information there. And sometimes they've got vintage vehicles from the Cold War there, and we can have up to 150 players in a game. This is the A&K M60, so it's the A&K replica of it,
Uh-huh.
and it's the M60E1 light machine gun, which is the standard general purpose machine gun for the US forces.
Okay. Nice. In regards to replica, how close is this to the real thing?
Weight wise, not even close. This is about 8 kilos, maybe 9, fully loaded.
Right.
By the time you got all the stuff in it. The real one's about 13. That's what it was called, the pig, in
Right.
Vietnam. But it still allows you to have weight on it
Uh-huh.
that allows you to use it as a support weapon rather than run about with it like an airsoft rifle. This isn't something you'd shoulder, and in real life you would have
Yeah.
very much difficulty shouldering it. It's a crew served support weapon. It's designed to be fired from an emplaced position, and usually you would have someone else feeding the ammo into it, rather than the box magazine, which is a slightly more modern version, unfortunately, as A&K took the M60E4 commando versions that they already had, the more modern versions, and slapped the Vietnam front end on it, really.
I see.
It's close enough.
Close enough.
It works. It's got a genuine M60 GI sling on it as well, which helps when you're lugging it
So
about.
before we finish off, if anyone else is interested in pursuing Cold War airsofting or any other period of history, where might they go? Particularly for the Cold War airsoft.
Well, the best sort of thing to look at is the US Militaria forum,
Right.
which is brilliant. There's a lot of guys that served in Germany, a lot of guys who were there in the 1980s that talk about their gear and have got pictures of their gear and stuff. It's just kind of really do your research. There's also quite a few Facebook groups now that deal with sort of like Militaria and that. There's Cold War Airsoft one, and there's a US gear one as well. I can't remember the exact name on
But
it.
you could just
But
search
there
it
is
and you'll find
sort
it.
of like US military 1960s to 1980s one, and stuff comes up on that, and most of it's genuine most of the time. I mean, sometimes you get repro stuff, but a lot of the stuff, like these jungle boots, are repro. They're not original. Original ones are really really hard to find. But eventually, you just kind of start replacing your repro stuff out with like real stuff when you finally acquire it and stuff.
Oh, God. Oh. Hut, hut, hut.
Respawns that way.
If someone has got a lighter and they've got alcohol to put in the lighter and therefore they're able to make a fire, and they've got a pot and they've got dirty water, they can purify water with the drafting matrix, so you get to do the task and then you...
Over there, Miko. You have water?
Do you have any trade goods? Do not touch that weapon, my friend, or you will die.
He is, He started off as military,
Ah, right, okay.
so he's got his ammo to start with.
Because the military start with more ammo, don't they?
Yep. Yeah. Militia start military, start with ammo. Anyone else doesn't get anything until they craft it. So.
Right. 3, 4.
None?
Nah, we worked all the way up in there.
Every single wee structure.
That was only, or is that one?
Oh, for fuck's sake. Time to go! Ah, you failed!
And what's your plan today, sir? Yes, you can do, can't you? Have you had many victims? Good. What? No, that's good. I'm glad you're enjoying your work. I think we'll do that. Well, goodbye. Have fun. Have a, you know.
You want to call her? Would you say no? I don't want to call her back. Are you alive or are you a zombie? Can we craft water at you?
Water, no food.
Timmins.
It was as we were heading there.
So lose a hit point. You've no ate a meal, so you lose a hit point. Lose a hit point. So he loses a hit point. Right, he loses a hit point. Not just give me a meal, he loses a hit point. But he loses a hit point for.
Not going well.
You're unconscious when you're in the game next time.
Oh no.
I've got a question.
What,
you berries?
berries? Yeah.
Are you eating them?
Yeah. Can I eat them just now?
Do you want to eat them? I'll give you. This is the one and only opportunity. Look very closely. Do you want to eat them? You've got 2 seconds to decide.
Yes or no? Come on. Yes or no?
Roll a dice. Oh, he's poisoned. Lose a hit point.
So, guys, how do you think today has gone in comparison to the first day, as in 2 years ago?
Personally,
No. I'd say we've met the expectations and probably exceeded them. Our own and the customers, the players, the zombies, everyone. Cool. They're all having a great time.
Yeah, I would agree with that, and it's kind of evident when you speak to the players they're having a great time. You know, They're very happy to tell you how much they've enjoyed it, and there's loads of superlatives in there when they're saying, you know, the most wonderful, you know, whatever.
Yeah, the couple we've talked to have been very happy with what they've been doing. They've been very happy in character as well.
Yeah.
Really getting into that side of things, which is quite nice to see.
I think we're quite glad because it took a fair amount of trust on behalf of the players to accept that what we're doing is really a large departure from a regular airsoft game. So the fact that we've had repeat custom who are also having a good time is also nice. It means that kind of twice we've pulled it out of the bag.
Some of those repeat customers have travelled 5 hours to get here.
Yeah, I noticed there's a few from down south. The other thing I thought was interesting though was, very quickly, it's unusual to see an airsoft player husbanding their BBs.
Yes.
You know, it's quite funny to see them. Oh, I've only got 2, I've only got 3, I can't.
Yeah.
Ammunition is very tight out there. It's a mechanic of the game.
And it seems to be working great.
It is.
I actually saw at the trading post there was one guy trying to barter with the 2 BBs he had in game for one of the lap fire axes, and the trading post sent him packing.
Right.
But it shows you, you know, they're literally going about with a tiny amount of ammunition.
Cool.
And they still seem to have had a lot of action in spite of that.
We've seen a few. We wouldn't call them firefights, really, but there's
exchanges.
There's been exchanges,
Yeah.
exactly.
Oh, man.
It was already off, I had my thumb on it. I can't do that quick. I've just seen him unclip his holster. You can't do that quick. And in there, he's got his gun out of his holster.
Ricky wants you. Ricky wants you. For a time, Militia. Ricky wants you. See you come with us. You got the handcuffs? Starts. Let's go. We don't want any of you guys. Just him. Just him.
Oh no. No, I'm not liking this.
The militia want him. We've got to find the priest for the militia.
You probably don't have ammo.
I'm like, no. Have you seen the priest? Are you sure it's not?
We haven't seen.
We've got to get one off for the militia.
We haven't seen the priest. Don't worry.
To be honest though, I was right about you unclipping your finger, wasn't I?
Basically, we came down here to get the guys, all the rest of the guys, hydrated and fed. We are currently looking for a priest for bounty. If we take him back to the militia, we will get ammo and reward. However, when we were successfully getting hydrated, we got absolutely raided by another group.
Stephen Butcher, right? Do you want to take the ammo? Are they of interest to you? What do we need?
Well, we're off fed and watered.
Ammo.
Yeah, would you trade ammo for it?
But we can trade information on ammo.
Instructions is not open.
I also need watching back. The only other information I have is I need someone called Alexander who's carrying the infection.
Oh, Alexander.
I have no further information than that.
Right.
And I need those 2 people here.
Right,
Alexander and from there I will take blood from both of them and experiment on. We'll experiment on the plasma and hopefully see where we get from that. And that's what I need to do.
Okay.
And then the first people back with that.
Having a whale of time.
No, go that way.
Yeah, sure, you guys will come back.
Don't worry about it.
We will be able to.
We got this. You seem very organised.
No, that's because the 2 who are organisers are used to talking to you.
Guys.
Whoa, come on.
Right, hold up here, guys. Hold up here.
You do that.
No, what?
Right, lad.
Oh, sorry, I think
Now that was proper running.
Let's go on the way, let's go.
Who's that? Zombie, Benji!
Yeah!
Oh, fuck, I can!
the scene. To protect you. To be honest.
So we're with Steve Douglas, the coordinator of Scare Scotland.
Aye.
Tell us about Scare Scotland, Steve.
Scare Scotland is a collective of horror fans from across Scotland, as the name says, who basically wish to perform in the horror industry, and that is either in film, TV or live events, such as the thing that we're doing today, this DayZ thing.
Okay.
What we do is we get people who wish to come along and we train them up to a high performance level so they can come along to things like this and basically scare the crap out of you airsofter guys.
So, when it comes to the performance of the zombies, they are performers and not extras.
No, they're definitely performers. What we've done is at Scare Scotland, we've looked at literally hundreds of zombie movies, and we've taken all the sort of best elements of that, and some of us who have worked in Scare Scotland have worked in live horror events, live scare mazes and that sort of up and down the country over many years, and we've brought all that together to sort of lift this performance level and bring it out, that sort of, rather than shuffling about and just saying, and because an extra would just go on a set and get very tired after an hour or two. We show how our performers how to move and how to look after themselves during that sort of performance day or performance time that they're going to be there, so that the performance is consistent throughout the whole event.
Which particularly in a film or TV production is quite important.
Yeah, it's very, very important, especially in a TV show or a film where you're a lot of sitting around and in between shots and stuff, and they have to be ready, as soon as the director starts, they need to bounce up and
able to do exactly what they've done in the previous.
And over again. So we take them away before they're even on set, and we rehearse. And we choreograph a lot of stuff. So when we actually take the performers onto set, the director knows what he's getting right away. We will explain to him, we've asked you, given your brief, this is what it is. We'll show him it, and then he can make the sort of changes he needs and go for it.
Do you provide training?
Yes, we run a thing called Undead Academy.
Right.
And anyone can do it. It works to the sort of person's body strength and how they move, from this height to this height, and it works to how their body moves. And it includes sort of the vocalisations, and so they're able to do that in a live situation as well, because again, that's something that's very difficult to sustain.
Yeah.
You can
from judging from the screams we heard from some of the guys and girls earlier, it must do a heck of a lot of damage to their throats.
Yeah, it can do if they're not doing it right.
Yeah.
Essentially, we give them a singing lesson.
Okay.
That's where they're actually where they're sort of going and they're pushing, rather than pushing it from here, they're pushing it from
the diaphragm.
From diaphragm, and it's all sort of coming out there, and that we found that was the easiest way to do it, and it minimises the damage to their vocal cords, and it's very easy to sometimes get a little bit lazy, so we give them a wee nudge. No, you need to keep doing that, or you'll sound like Rod Stewart. It's we're very glad to be working with the Section 8 guys today, and this is the second time we've done this event with them.
Because you were here for the previous days.
Yeah, and it was a fun day. We've worked with BBC, Tiger Aspect. We've made music videos, short films. We've partnered up with a few agencies and a few other groups. We work with a group called Castle Horror in Dundee, who run events up there. They're really enthusiastic bunch of people who have brought us on board, and they've seen that they're people that we have lifted their performance levels, and when they're running events they bring us in and we help them out with sort of putting scares and stuff like that.
And how can people get in touch with you?
They can get us at www.scarescotland.co.uk, and if any airsoft groups out there want to have a go at doing something like this, feel free to give us a shout and we'd love to help you out.
Thank you for watching Take Your Hits. See you next time.